One thing I want to hit on before we wrap up this conversation, Carl, is the pursuit of aesthetics, because a lot of people are doing functional bodybuilding because they've seen a really good looking body on Instagram and they want to look like that, right? And I think a lot of people full stop come into the gym because they want to look and feel a certain way. They want to drop some body weight. They want to see their abs. They want bigger arms, whatever it might be. And a lot of the time, I wouldn't say we take like a hard stance on this, but I think sometimes we are quick to brush aside aesthetic goals and say, there's got to be some deeper reason behind it. It's not a good enough reason to come in and train. And I don't like that. Like, I don't like that flat out dismissal of people's desire to look a certain way. I think people have to be allowed to have those goals. But of course, we have to kind of peel back the layers with them and work on, why they want to look a certain way, why they want bigger calves, why they want a bigger butt. Like, what's that going to bring them and get them at the end of the day?
I can
So,
tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing to get them. No, I'm joking.
I thought you were actually going to tell me one thing, Carl. I was waiting.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
So yeah, any thoughts on that?
Gosh, I've lived a lot of my life where aesthetics were the main goal, and I don't think that I was like, one of those malaligned people that had, really unhealthy exercise and nutrition behaviors because of it. So I do think that aesthetics are a very realistic goal, and it has to be a realistic goal because there's a large percentage of the population that have that goal when they get into fitness. And if that's what brings them over to us, awesome, right? But I do think there's always that piece that we have to look at where, as fitness coaches, it's our jobs to do what you said and dig a little bit deeper. Because if we take every client's goal at face value 100% of the time, we're not doing them a service, right? Because there are some clients that I'm sure we've all worked with that had malaligned aesthetics goals. And, when you ask them the question of, what is a good aesthetic profile for you? Like, what does that look like? Here are your numbers, right? Like, we have pictures of what you look like right now. We have your body fat percentage. We have your lean body mass. We have all of these data points. When are you going to say, I'm good? Right. And the client that can't answer that, that's like, I don't know. It's more of like a feeling. I want to feel good about myself. That's when we not a red flag, but that's when we have to really deepen the conversation. Because that's when we're like, is this actually an aesthetic thing, or is this a self-confidence thing, an acceptance thing? Are you trying to impress someone? What is this really? But that client that says like, oh, I look at, this picture of myself and, you can kind of tell in the umbilical, I have excess body fat and I just want to get rid of that. Like, that's very specific. That's a very targeted goal. So we could be like, okay, once that excess body fat is gone, we can kind of like check the box of like, okay, we've accomplished that aesthetic goal. And then now we can continue and move on. Or when you pull up their InBody sheet and they're like, man, I felt really good when I was 15% body fat and I'm sitting at about 17.5 or 19% body fat. I just want to get back to 15. And then, I'm not going to push aesthetics. I don't need to be in a caloric deficit, blah, blah, blah. Those are so targeted where it's like, okay, let's roll, let's hit these goals. But like I said at the beginning, if they're just like, I don't really know, right? I just want to keep going. Those are the clients where we get their body fat down to 10, 12, 15%, whatever a good body fat is for them. Or, we lose that umbilical fat and they find something else, right? And it just never ends. And it's like, okay, now this shit is just unhealthy. Like, you're just not happy with yourself and you're using body fat and the way that you look as like the thing to really hone in on to try to solve this problem that is much bigger than just aesthetics. So I think we have to do our jobs as coaches and we have to dig into that more specifically without, like you said, without saying, oh, that goal is bullshit. It has to be deeper 100% of the time. But I do think there is a large percentage of the time where it actually is deeper. And, when I was working with a lot of clients, I worked with a lot of aesthetics clients. And when we did talk about, pushing that aesthetic goal, that's one question I always asked. I said, at what point will we get, what will be the metric that says that we've hit this goal? I always ask them that. And it's always a red flag when they can't answer that. Sometimes they can't answer it and we kind of talk it through and then we come up with a goal. But when they can't say, you know, certainly like, hey, when I get this, I'm going to be happy with my aesthetic profile, and I'm not going to, you know, always have to be in this caloric deficit, and I'm not going to, you know, do this yo-yo thing where I'm asking you for new macros every Sunday because I totally shit the bed throughout the week. I don't know if that answered your question, but I took both sides there.